Hi, I'm Derrick Adams, and welcome to my Brooklyn studio. Wesselmann is an artist who I learned about in my early years as an artist because I felt there was some humor in some of the work that also appeared in my work. The thing that I really love is just some of the overlapping interests that Wesselmann had with laying color in the way that I also do it. I'm interested in the idea of simplicity existing as a form of complicating things. And sometimes things that are more simplified could have a bigger impact visually on the viewer than things that are more convoluted or at least ornate. And that became really intriguing to me because I was interested in the way that he constructed images and how the images that appeared to be both physical in some ways and very representational, but also very abstract in the same way, in thinking about some of the motivations behind his making of his work and how he actually was able to implement these planes of color for doing everything from nude figures to landscape to still lives, these types of things I was really interested in with my work, and really just expanding the language of what is possible with simplifying imagery with color. Well, what really intrigued me is how he was obsessed with certain subject matter and how he, within the simplicity of execution, was able to reimagine it in really different ways. The slight change and shift of the imagery by implementing scale and sometimes reducing the color, sometimes introducing other elements within the frame of the American nude that gave the subject a little bit more place of substance, but also in turn also stripping the figure of identity and space. And I find most of the domestic objects that are in the frame of American nudes, including some with the flag, I really thought about how these images complicated the figure more than the ones without it, because it really talked about the morality of a culture, a popular culture, the things that they care about, the things that they exploit, the things that they consider. And I think that to me connected me with the work more so than the ones with the isolated backgrounds. What, again, that really drew me to Wesselmann's work is his direct interest in media culture. And it really opened up this idea of consumer culture in art. And it was in some way presented as almost like a billboard because the figures were really positioned to speak to you in a certain way, to tap into your desire. When I got to really get into Wesselmann's American nude, I really thought about how would I respond to the opposed reference of the female nude, primarily white women in the work, and I started to think about the black male body and how the black male body represents a certain idea, idealistically, as very masculine, very sexually driven, very much this figure of strength. And so the super nudes kind of came out of the idea of the superhero, out of the kind of triumphant figure, the savior figure. And some of the images that I look at for inspiration are images that are purposely constructed through media for selling things. But I also see that there's room for a little disruption and room for some level of detour or alteration within that structure. And I think that Wesselmann responded in that way as well, but on a different level. But I think that his response to media was not repeating what he saw. And maybe this work was really more of his kind of like rebelliousness to what was being forced upon him in advertisement in a way to highlight the disturbing quality of what he saw within the camouflage of the construct of lighting and composition and framing, mostly from photography,